Hello and welcome to the video about Workbook 2, all from the Go-to-Market Handbook for B2B SaaS leaders, which is available on Amazon. As promised, each week we're going to go through the handbook on a video, and that accompanies the actual handbook itself, which can be found on our website, which is www.venture.team. So, Paul, why is testing your thesis, which is what this workbook is all about, is so important? Why is it so critical?
Good question. So I think, firstly, let's just recognize that it's human nature to have confirmation bias.
Yeah.
So we've created our thesis in somewhat of a bubble because it's our internal thesis. And to recap, we've done that with our internal team.
Yeah.
And we've created a pain statement, which is now an animation that we think describes the problem that we want to solve or that we want to continue to solve. But it is human nature that we seek out the information that confirms our current beliefs. And we tend to ignore the information that contradicts our beliefs. And so we, as leaders particularly, have got to be very cognizant of the things that are true and real that we might not like, but we have to deal with. And this process really is to draw all of that out, to either confirm that we've got it right, or more likely to evolve our thinking about the pain that we're solving from the people who feel this pain day in, day out. So let's just be aware that it's natural for us to listen and hear the things we want to hear and ignore the things that we don't. And as leaders and entrepreneurs, I think it's probably fair to say that we're probably further down the optimism scale than most. So it was very important in creating this pain statement that we got people that are more probably steeped in reality, maybe from engineering and product, that have helped us build this statement, and maybe people that have been on the front line of customer support who understand some of the nuances. And now we're going to go and test it. And I think it's really important that it's the leader of the business, the founder, that is leading from the front here. Because if you're going to ask people to go into battle with you or alongside you or for you, then you want to, demonstrate the behaviors of leadership and really let people know that you understand the headwinds, you understand the realities. You may have chosen to ignore them, but you understand them, and that you're certainly not deluded by these problems that the company's going to face. You've set a strategy around knowing, the detail of the research that you've done. So, yeah. So I guess if that's the why, would you add anything more to that why?
Yeah, I'm going to say, as man traps go in the B2B SaaS world, there is no bigger man trap than not testing your thesis, and we've done it. We went through a marketing budget, we went through a sales budget, we went through investors' money because we believed, when we were founders, that we knew more than our customers did. We believed that we understood the pain they were in more than the reality. So we actually went out on a thesis that was completely wrong. Not completely wrong. It was a vitamin, not a painkiller.
It was the pain that we wanted them to have.
Yeah, exactly. We came up with this great idea. We wanted them to have this problem. We went to them and told them that they had this problem, and most of them went, and the ones that did buy it said, and ultimately, thankfully, one of them turned around at the Volkswagen Group and said, I've always wondered why you sell your product upside down, because it's not the bit that you're selling, the bit that we really like. It's the little admin tool on the back. It's the bit that saves us thousands of hours of time. So yeah, not testing your thesis is mad. We were the only industry in the world that would go to market with a product without having actually tested it effectively to see whether the market would like it, and the market needs it. So that's why this workbook, I think, is just so critical. And
I read some.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I read somewhere recently that that confirmation bias issue is the biggest killer of startups.
Yeah, Yeah.
We see people on Dragon's Den, and you sit there and you think, how the hell did they think that was a good idea?
Yeah,
well, we just do. We convince ourselves.
Yeah.
So we've got to be really, really conscious that we now need to clear our mind and lean in to the contradictions.
Correct. So
because it's going to save you money, and it's going to save you heartache, and it hopefully will save your business too.
Absolutely. So that's the why testing your thesis is so important. So let's talk about the what and the how and the who. So the process that we recommend in the workbook is to find 5 to 10 buying personas that you believe are the people who are ultimately going to buy your software, ultimately have the money for your software coming out of their budget. They're the people that you drew at the middle, probably, of your pain statement that you've now created with your team, which we covered off in workbook 1. And you need to go out in the marketplace and beg, borrow, steal, ask anybody you know that you can get you to one of the buying personas that you think is the right person or the right fit for your solution. So where do you go? Well, it might be people you know, it might be friends of the family, it might be friends of your mum, it might be people you find on LinkedIn, it could be existing customers, it could be somebody you work for, but you need to build a list of 5 to 10. And if you're selling to CFOs, for example, it's a financial solution, 5 to 10 CFOs who operate roughly in the kind of shape and size of organization that you want to sell to.
And probably, I would say you might want to have a selection of a few that maybe differ, So if you want to, I could think of an experience where we did this research on behalf of an organization, and it was, funny enough, CFOs. And what we found was very large CFOs of very large, in this case, private equity firms, had an accentuated pain. Those in the smaller ones had pain that they could live with. And therefore they were never going to spend to solve that pain. So if you feel that there's some variation in the proposition to different sizes, different shapes, different verticals, then I would have a cross-section that you felt was representative.
100%. So you need to find these people through whoever you know, ring your friends, ring us, ring whoever you need to, but we need to build this list of people. We're going to drop them all a note, which is the bit people find scary, saying, hi there, I just wondered whether you'd help. Really, that's what it's all about. Human nature's, thankfully, human nature's has a desire to help when asked. And an email will go something along the lines of, we'd love to draw down on your wisdom. We'd love to learn from your experience. We've got this thesis. This isn't a sales call. This is a research call. Could you spare me 30 to 45 minutes of your time so I can understand your world a bit better and test the thesis that me and my organization has come up with to see whether we're right, to see whether the pains that we think you have are real, and to understand more about that. And we have found over the years that people are more than happy.
I'd say it's a 90% yes rate.
Absolutely. You just have to ask people for help. And particularly if you ask about drawing down on their wisdom, people love talking about their work and their world. And we'd actually find that a massive, great hurdle. If you're really brave, you can get these people together in a room at the same time. And that is really brave, but we've seen that happen. But in the modern sort of post-pandemic world where Zoom and Teams are very prevalent, just a 30-minute, 45-minute Zoom call actually works really well. And that's the who you need to get together. And then there's a really, really defined process, isn't there, for how we go through this. So what are the sort of rules that mustn't be broken when you're testing your thesis with a buying persona?
Well, yeah, let's just talk about how we're going to structure this meeting. So we want them to talk. We want open questions. Really, it's definitely not a sales call. So we're not leading the witness in any way, shape, or form, and we're giving them the space to elaborate on the issues that we've identified and ask them to add other issues or other pains that they are suffering. So the framework to keep you on track is that you're going to talk through the pain statement. So you're going to say, this is how we understand your world to be today. And this is how we've created this, we've created it internally, but we've also had input from people like yourselves. And this is broadly speaking what we think your world looks like. We're conducting this research with you, but people in your shoes in different organizations. And ultimately, we're going to come back with a revised version of this with everybody's input. They love that. I think that's a really key part of what you're giving back, because people love to hear what other people, in the same roles as them are dealing with. So the pain statement is a structure, it's an animation. We are showing empathy, we're showing understanding, we're showing understanding of their business model, we're showing understanding of how we think their world looks today. And then we're asking them open questions. And I think you can come on to this, Richard, because you're particularly passionate about the mum test. But, at the end of it, it could be as simple as, with a magic wand, what would you change? And then you'll find what their biggest problem is, their biggest pain is, once you've gone through everything. Or you might choose to get them to rank the pains that they've discussed. But key thing is, it's not a sales call, you're not leading a witness, and you're allowing them to do 80% of the talking once you've given them a framework to do so.
Yeah, 100%. Not leading the witness is critical, as is building a set of questions which can inform you as widely as possible in as few a number of questions. You've only got a certain amount of time. You're going to take them through your pain statement. You're checking all the way the way we see the world is the right way. And we recommend that you look at pain or challenges they're facing on 3 levels. One is, how does this affect your business? So what is the business pain that's here? It could be things shipping not quickly enough, invoices not being paid on time, integrations not happening. Whatever your solution is, you want to understand what the business effect of that is, and the time and the money that's wasted in that process. And all the while you're gathering a picture of how their world looks, and you're asking without any bias whether this is true or false. The second level you should look at really is the personal pain. So ask them questions like, how does this broken process, or how does the problem that this broken process is causing manifest itself? What does it lead to? Does it lead to, well, don't lead the witness, but he might well say, or she might well say, it leads to difficult one-to-ones. It leads to friction between our teams. It leads to frustration. It leads to embarrassment. These are personal pains that your buying persona is feeling, and indeed the team are dealing with on a daily basis. They find the process boring. They're uploading spreadsheets. They're moaning at me all the time. Try and capture that personal pain in there as well, because lots of business leaders buy software to help their team do a job better, and that is all vital information. And then the third layer you're looking for is, might solving this help a department, as a different department from the one that you're talking to? So if there is friction between, finance and legal, in an instance, if we fix the problem in finance, would it help the team in legal? And the reason why we're trying to find that sort of board level benefit, multiple board position benefit, is at some point this is going to come to a vote whether they invest in your software or not, possibly at a board level. And you want as many hands as you possibly can going up, because many heads of department find advantage. And just to finish the point you said, if you're looking on how to build a really effective question set when everybody else is lying to you, then the book is called The Mum Test. It's on my desk all the time. And it is a very, very, very short read, but it will help you pull together 10 questions which will really open up amongst the buying personas whether the pain they're feeling is genuine or not, and how visceral that pain is. Have they got budget assigned to solve that pain, and so on and so on and so forth. Yeah. So yeah, that's the key elements of what you're looking for in that call.
And I would also say one important element of it is to record the call.
Yeah.
Again, don't be nervous to ask. If people are really bothered about it, they'll tell you that they're not happy. But again, 9 out of 10 are happy for it to be recorded, and that's simply so you can socialize it with everybody else in the company that needs to hear it and see it. So it's a key part. You really do want to make sure you get that, because you want a library of evidence. Yeah. That you can share internally with your investors, whoever it is that you need to get on board with whatever strategies come from this research.
Yeah, and I think watch their body language is another tip in this. You really need to listen out for whether they find this pain serious or not, or whether it's something they're just prepared to deal with. Right? There's a lot of headwinds when you're selling software. Change, inertia is a massive, massive headwind. Forget the money; it's the time to stop what they're doing and put in a new process, and the fear of change, the inertia is a very, very powerful emotion. You're looking to find out whether this is something that's so important that they're prepared to stop the business and invest their time and their money in a new process. And occasionally you're going to hear, unfortunately, that they don't find it painful enough. And I say, unfortunately, actually, that's the most valuable bit of information that you could have. Because if they don't believe that this problem is bad enough for your solution to solve it, then you really are onto a difficult place. And it's time to look back at the proposition and say, does any of this resonate? Or ask them what it is that is keeping them up at night. If we haven't captured it, what is the real nail in the boot that's really hurting the team? And invariably, the solution's actually within your solution. You just need to come at it from a different angle, from a different place.
Yeah.
But getting non-encouraging negative feedback might feel like a real kick in the stomach. But trust me, it will save you thousands of pounds, rather than going
Hundreds.
with a product nobody wants.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you should be seeking that out. It's a fun process. I think it's one of the most enjoyable things that we do, because there's no pressure. You're not selling to anyone. You're not trying to get a renewal or manage a complaint. It's pure personal engagement with someone in a topic that you're both interested in. And I think that key point you made at the end is so important. If it's not painful enough for them, that's the best thing you can hear.
Yeah.
And then you deal with it. You either pivot or you look at another problem, as you said. It obviously would prefer that isn't the outcome, but if it is the outcome, that's the reality you have to deal with before you waste any more money.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, most founders have either worked within a business and seen the problem manifest itself, or have done some research and hope they have something to build on. So more times than not, we do hear positive noises. We always hear another nuance which we hadn't captured in our internal team. There's always a thing where it's added on when they say, oh yeah, but the real problem's this one over here, and this happens, and then that happens, and then we lose people, and then they did, and all the time you need to be adding to your pain statement, adding that extra information, that extra dimension in for call number 2, when you can then test that part of the thesis, call number 3, call number 4, call number 5. But in an ideal world, your pain statement you started with will have altered by the end of the testing the thesis phase and improved. You'll have dumbed down certain areas which you've realized aren't as important as you thought they were, and you'll have dialed up other parts of the diagram which actually are. And hopefully at the end of that process, you've now got 5 to 10 videos that you've recorded in a vault that you can share with your team, you can share with your investors, you can share with whoever you like, that now proves that the industry that you're aiming your software at has a genuine problem, a visceral problem that needs solving, and you're now ready to set up the second call, which is what you mentioned before, when you say to them at the end of the call, can I call you back in a week's time when I finish this research and play back to you what I've heard from the whole sector and everybody I've spoken to. And I think 99 times out of 100 they are delighted to do that.
Yeah.
And what's the focus of that second call?
You also might ask, probably on the second call, but you're asking them to really help you with developing this product over time. And people, again, there's a very good positive reception to that, whether that's a customer advisory board or whether that's a product development steering group. Inviting them to that is very useful in this process. So the second call is to go and show them the blended statement from all of the research. So by speaking to you, thank you. You've highlighted to us these areas that we feel are more important than we initially thought. People that are in your shoes in other organizations have also contributed these elements. So overall, this is how we see this, the pain today. Have we got that right? And generally at that stage, they're going to say, yeah, that's my world. You've captured my world.
And you can see them,
yeah.
kind of crinkling up because it's often going back through the storm, right?
Yeah. Can I have a copy of that, please? I just want to show my boss. Yeah. So that you'll feel a lot of empathy, as you say. You'll feel warmth because someone's recognised their situation, and then at the end of that, what you want to do is propose to them theoretically what the solution to this problem is that you have innovated around.
Yeah,
that's definitely not a product demo.
Yeah,
we're not talking about demo. We're saying broken process, for argument's sake, new process, lots of pain eased, and it's a schematic. Again, it's probably a build. You know, this is the world that you have today. What would it be like for you if the world looked like this? So you're painting that picture of the new world. And then you can get into the conversation of, if we developed this, is this something you would buy? Be honest with me. Yes, no. And if the answer is yes, you can delve a bit deeper. You know, what would be the price that would be far too expensive for this? What would be the price that, you know, the budget sign-off would just be a no-brainer? And you're just getting information that you can use when you come back. So that's, you know, it's wireframes, it's schematics, it's animation. And if you're getting buying signals now, then you're going to come back, and you may already have built this product or large chunks of this product, but you definitely don't want to show them any product at this stage. You want to conceptualize the outcome. We're talking about the outcome, and then that's it. That's meetings 1 and 2. So yeah, after that, you may want to lead into, okay, would you like to join our customer advisory board? Could you help us steer this product? Now, people selfishly like to participate in that because they feel that they can influence the product for their needs as opposed to other people's needs. And then ultimately down the line, you're going to go back to them with a finished article and say, this is what you told us you wanted. Yeah. And generally they're going to become a customer at that point.
And I think on the solution slide, you're also looking for as much evidence as you're looking on the pain slide, right? So in your solution, you said, if this integrates with that, and that replaced that, and that happened, and that happened, that would save this, this, and this, which will give them that and that. Again, you're not leading the witness. You're looking for them to say, oh yeah, but that wouldn't work. Oh, right, okay, well, that aspect wouldn't work. Why wouldn't it work? Well, we don't have the data, or we don't have the integrations, or the technology team would say no. They wouldn't want that to happen. Or it's a really good moment to look for, why won't your solution plug in? Will it save you time and money? Yes, but why might it not work? You're looking for big wins. You're looking for them to say things like, oh, if only we have money for this. If only we have money in our budget. You know, all of this is just vital information. The fact that they might like it, and the fact that it might solve, you know, all their problems, still doesn't mean that they're going to buy it or that they're going to afford it. So keep your, you know, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. You're looking for the reasons why something won't simply, you know, work in their organization.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It could be that, you know, the best thing since sliced bread for them, but if they don't have the resource in the technical department, they don't have the resource in the change management that's going to be required. The priorities of the organization are so clear, and this is not, you know, doesn't fit into one of those priorities, and it might come in at priority 10, and that's really important information because it's going to be hard to sell it. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that point. So you're asking, you know, why would you not adopt this? Yeah. What are the reasons you would not adopt this into your organization?
Yeah, what would stop you? What would stop your organization? I mean, I can see the merits of flying first class. I really can. I can see all of them. But you know, whether it's the priority for this year or in the affordability for this year is something completely different. So it's really important to look out for those moments. And I think one sort of final thing to say on this subject is, you know, it's never too late to test or to retest your thesis. This isn't just for businesses that are brand new, that are starting out. And I think if people feel that way, they've missed a nuance here. This is also, I mean, I think organizations should be doing this annually. And I think the founders should be doing it annually, because, you know, value props change, competitors come in, pricing changes, the world gets much harder. And you need to constantly be revalidating and rechecking that your original thesis is correct. And if the air's gone out of your tires a little bit, and, you know, sales aren't coming as fast as you would like them to, you know, go back and do this process again. You know, build your pain statement with your team again, make sure they're all aligned. We do this a lot with businesses who've been around 4 or 5 years. Get them all back in the room together. What pain are you solving? It's hectic. It's a very, as we discussed in the last video, it's a very hectic meeting. But then go back to your customers and say, look, is this still true? Tell me what's happened. Tell me what's changing.
And I think we're all guilty of, you know, raising around and selling the big vision to the investors with this massive TAM, and then ending up believing ourselves too much. And we end up trying to be all things for all people. And we know from harsh reality that to get the flywheel moving, we need to be something for someone before we're all things to all people. And it's a set of distinct niches that we're growing initially. And don't fall into that trap of believing your own TAM. Come back to your SOM and get really narrow around that, and then keep testing that. Keep testing those niches that are going to be the engine room for your business.
Perfect. So that's workbook 2 from the Go-to-Market Handbook for B2B SaaS leaders, which is testing your thesis. The next video is all about defining your perfect customer. And the one after that is all about building your market map Facebook. So follow our channel, stay tuned to our website, follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll have all these videos come out for each workbook as we go through. Thanks, mate.
Well played.
Thank
you.